Okay, so today I'm going to show you another easy technique video. Today I'm going to show you what's kind of popularly known as ink smooshing. So to do this technique, you need very few supplies. I have a piece of plastic here. It's actually off the front of a cardstock pack. It's from Vicki Boutin's 12 by 12 foundations paper package. I keep the fronts of them to use for this sort of thing. And then you need some water-based mediums. So I have a regular stamping ink, a distress ink, Vicki's art crayons, and then I have two things of Nuvo drops, because you can do this with Nuvo drops. I've done it a few times. I'm going to show you with the blue one because you won't be able to see the pink one on camera, but the pink one is really pretty because it's shimmery and it looks super, super pretty when it's done. I also have other things you can use. I'm not going to use them because it's super messy. You can use regular watercolor. This is watercolor paint. You can use mists. You can use Shimmers products. This is an Inklings. So this one comes like as a hard cake, and you activate it like you would with watercolor pans. Or there's this one, which is the original Shimmers, which comes with liquid in it, and you just stir it up and use it that way. But for today, oh, I do have a paintbrush here. I do have a paintbrush, so I can show you these. I'm going to be using some, I have it on my fingers, some regular cardstock. I would suggest that you don't use regular cardstock unless you want to put gesso on it. I have some other paper here to the side that I'm going to grab. I'll just grab out a sheet. So this is the Vicki Boutin Foundations paper. This is what I use when I'm going to be doing any kind of wet media. It's super thick, like super thick paper. I don't know, you should be able to hear it. There's a bird outside on my shed. He's cute. So I will let you hear the difference. So this is just regular white cardstock. So hopefully you can hear the difference between them. So I'm just going to cut this. I have lots of this paper, so I don't mind cutting it up and using it. Plus you can use it to punch shapes out of, is a really good thing if you make a few different like practice sheets like this. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I think I'm going to show you the ink, the Nuvo, and the art crayons, because everything else is the same. Like, it's the same idea. So I'll show you using these 3 products. So the other thing you'll need is some water. I have water in a little mister bottle, but you could use it in like a cup of water, anything like that. Another thing that's also fun that you can use to add to this is I have this liquid watercolor shimmer by Tailored Expressions. So I might add that to some of the art crayon to see what happens. So let's get started. I'm just going to use the foundations paper. So I'll start out with the art crayons. What's a good color that you'll be able to see? Do this blue. This blue one is super bright. So you will need something that you can, my nails won't let me pick anything up. You will need something that you can scribble the art crayon onto. That's why I have this plastic here. So you just take it and you scribble it on to the plastic packaging, and then you take your water and you mist it. I'm just going to block the spray from going everywhere. Or if you have a cup and water, you can use that too. But I tend to spill mine. So then you just mix it around. Now you do want to make sure that you have enough, my water is not water anymore, enough liquid on here. So you do want to make sure that it'll move freely on the plastic. In fact, I'm just going to give this another blast of water just to make sure. And then all you do is you drip it onto the page and then you can just smoosh it. Now you want to do it lightly, like I'm not pressing very hard on here. And you can turn both your packaging and your paper itself. So that's that. And then I'm just going to take my watercolor brush that just got watercolor everywhere and just kind of break up where like the lines are and stuff, just because I don't want that. And like the big puddles of color and things like that. Just kind of make the edges a little bit softer. That's all. And you can also just like, here, I have an ink or stamp block. That'll work. I just don't want to make a mess on my desk. I should have gotten my protective mat out, but that's okay. Just gonna put some water on my block to rinse off my brush, because my water cup no longer has water in it. Apparently it's all evaporated. And then I usually have paper towel in my scrapbook room, but apparently I've used it all. So I also always have baby wipes in my room. I use these Aqua Pure ones because they're not scented at all. They're just water basically in a wipe. And then clean off my little surface. Normally I would use paper towel to dry it, but I don't know. Let's see. I'm running low on paper towels in my scrapbook room. So just make do. Alright. Now you can heat dry this, or you can let it dry naturally. I'm just going to wave it in the air a bit because it's not super wet. And it'll work fine for what I need it for. Okay. And then you can go in with more layers of product. So I'm going to do more pigment this time. If you haven't used art crayons before, they're really fun. There's super pigment in them. So much pigment. I wish they'd make more colors. Maybe some more pinks, because there's really only one pink. It's really only this pink is the only one, so. Okay. This time I'm going to add some shimmer to it. Hopefully it'll come out, because sometimes this doesn't like to come out. Yeah, it's not going to come out. I don't know why. Ever since I bought this product, it just doesn't come out of the tube. So I'm just going to try and drip a tiny bit onto this. Not a lot, just a bit. Okay, that was more than I wanted, but that's okay. And then I will mix it in. I don't know if anybody's used this shimmer stuff before, but it's super sticky. Like, my fingers are really sticky now. And that's just from the bottle. Or probably from taking the lid off. The little squeeze lid that's supposed to work, but obviously doesn't. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing. And just... Okay. My nails are really not letting me pick up this sheet of plastic. And then I'm just going to drip. For this one I am just going to drip it on because I actually want to control where it's going, but you can smoosh it on if you want. And then I'm just going to, you know, create little patterns with it. This is definitely nothing that requires any, you know, ability or anything like that. You don't have to be an artist to master this. Then if you want, you can add in more color. You can add in different like different colors that mix together. So with this one, like if you added in a pink, you would get some purples, or you could add in purple. Or I will mix this dark purple and this one together to get a nice navy. So my crayons, I've had them forever, so they're broken, but that's okay. They still work. I just keep them in this little box. It's actually a crayon box from Michael's. I don't know, it doesn't have the label on it anymore. This one's broken. So I just keep my crayons in there. So I'm going to set this aside to dry, and then move on to the next medium. Just going to dry this off a little bit. Okay, so the next one I will show you is an ink one. Okay, let's do this. This is just regular ink. This is Catherine Pooler inks. I have the mini sizes of her inks. I don't have any larger ones, but they're the same thing. So there's a shimmer on my page now. Anyways, so you just take some of the ink and you stamp it onto the surface. You need something that's going to resist you. So a stamping block works well. Pieces of plastic, packaging works well, like from scrapbook papers. I actually sprayed it and now I have the ink sprayed over. That's why I use a cup of water a lot of the time, but that's okay. Now these Catherine Pooler inks are super pigmented, so you'll get a lot of ink just from 1 or 2 passes with it. And then you do the same thing. You just stamp it down, roll it around, get different dots and patterns. Try not to go onto your background. And that's it. I'm just wiping off my page there. So again, I'm just going to go in and just kind of spread out the like big pools of color. You could leave it if you wanted. I don't know what that is. If you wanted, you could leave it, or you can go in and change it. Just cleaning off my brush. That color, if you're interested, is Tutti Frutti. So I will set that one aside to dry as well. So the last one I'm going to show you is the Nuvo one. So this is Nuvo drops. This is just the regular crystal drops. It doesn't have any shimmer or glitter in it. But I know the shimmer ones work well. What are they? Crystal drops. They work well too. Oh. These are the same, but this one's definitely shimmery. I don't know why they have the same name. Usually if they have like different finishes, they'll have different names. Like I forget what the glitter ones are called, but so I'm just gonna put a blob on my paper or on my plastic sheet. You don't need very much. And then I'm going to dilute it with water. Now you need quite a bit of water for this, but anything that will break down in water works well for this. I'm actually just going to add a bit more color to it because I added quite a lot of water. And the color all diluted. That's okay. You can always add more. So you can do this technique with anything that's water soluble. So you can use glazes. I don't have any to hand, right? Actually, do I? Oh, I do have one. So you can use the glaze. This one's really old, so it's kind of dry, but it still works. If you add water to it, it still works. It's just kind of like jelly now. It's not. I usually just reactivate it with water if I want to use it. So you can use it with that kind of glaze. I have this one that it would work with. I don't think it would work very well with glitter glazes. Because they have chunky glitter in them, but you could always try. Okay, so that's moving well. It's moving well on the plastic sheet. And then I'm just going to turn it over and smoosh it. So this one is going to dry a lot softer. The Nuvo ones dry really soft when you use them. Just going to clean off my plastic sheet. Give it a good scrubbing. Oh, I think there was still color left over from the last was there? Okay, I'm going to try this again because it got a weird like pink hue to it. So I'm going to try it again. I have one more sheet of paper. I don't know if it just always happens. So I'm going to clean this off really well and then dry it with a paper towel. Okay, there's nothing on here now. I've cleaned this extremely well. So let's try again. It got this like weird pink hue in the background, so I'm going to try it again. I haven't used this blue one. I've used the pink one for this before, and it just turns out really pretty. It's really like shiny and ugh, so pretty, the pink one. I should have found my layout that I used it for. I think it's on my YouTube channel if you look. I'll try and find it and link it below. I don't remember exactly what layout it was, but I think I know. I think I could find it. Okay. So my brush was clean, my sheet of plastic was clean, so let's see if it happens again. So there's less water this time, but it still moves. This one works weird. So I'm just going to spray some water on the paper. Try and get rid of those weird lines. Yeah, there must have been some of the Tutti Frutti ink left on something. Because there's no pink now. Although it does look kind of cool. It turned into like a gray color. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. Because it's white and it's pretty light. Let's see if I turn on my light, if you can see it better. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. It's pretty light colored, so this one is the same. Well, not the same, but it's really light colored, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well. The Nuvo ones do turn really light. It seems when you add the water to it that the pigment just kind of like melts away somehow. So those are different things. You can use it with oxide inks, distress inks. I pulled out my distress ink, but I didn't show you because it's literally the exact same as using a regular stamping ink. So you can use it with distress inks, sprays. It works really well with sprays. If you want to use it with sprays, watercolor, This is just a little square of watercolor pigment. So you can use it with watercolor, shimmers, glaze. Oh, you can use it with these, with the Nouveau mousse as well. The embellishment mousse. It works with this as well. So I hope you all enjoyed that little video. And that you maybe try this on something. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.